Hello and welcome to episode 121 of Wing Sauce. Wing Sauce and Old City Sports Network are brought to you by Body Check Wellness. Go to www.bodycheckwellness.com. That's BODYCHEK wellness.com. Use promo code OCS in all caps for 25% off your hemp-derived CBD oils, functional mushroom blends, and edibles for you and your dogs. Gentlemen, I am back.
Woohoo!
Feels like I'm a guest, though. Doesn't even
You are.
I have like a little bit of nervousness.
You are a guest now.
To this one.
Connor and I took over the show.
Yeah,
That's fine. That's why I know it's tanking.
Yeah, right. That's why it's better than ever. We've had more listeners. It's actually quadrupled since you've left.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
They're like, oh, thank God. His
post the numbers, please.
post. Hold on one second.
Well, tell us, Tyler. How have you been?
Great. Actually, so for those of you who don't know, the last time that we recorded, I actually had all of my shit ready to go. But my computer just decided, you know what, today's my day off.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
I want to do this.
To be fair, his computer's from fucking 2009 when he went to fucking college or
Had
high
a
school.
lot of days off.
Whoa. I'm not that old. Come on, Dustin.
Okay, well,
I'm
that's
not in my 30s yet.
Fuck off. Well, needless to say, it's fucking old. It's old computer. Glad he's here though.
It's definitely from like 2013 though.
Funny enough. So we did try to do a live show a couple weeks ago, and so since we couldn't get Tyler on the live show, we're like, hey, let's go to Zoom. Well, that didn't work either.
That didn't work either. No.
So if you notice, it was just Connor and I for a second time.
Nothing would work.
Yeah, nothing would work. He did tell us he threw his laptop in the lake. It seems it didn't happen. That's good.
Well, I think it did work. I think this thing's waterproof.
Is that what he did? He threw it in the lake, and it's like, oh shit.
No, it just keeps like coming back. It's like one of those like
cleansed
dark objects.
Yeah.
You drop it in the ocean. It's just like on your desk the next day.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
Speaking of what the hell, let's talk about that fucking Matthew Tkachuk trade.
Yes. Oh my God.
There's a lot of trades that
one's. I think that's a big what the hell though, right?
We have Red Wings free agency to talk about too.
We do.
Yeah, I was gonna say that was just.
There's a lot on the docket.
Hold on, let's start with the craziest thing first. Tkachuk went to the Florida Panthers for Huberdeau, Uyghur, Schwint, and a first-round pick in 2025.
Is that bigger than Gaudreau? Maybe I was like, Malkin leaving, or I want to talk about that because I think that's probably like a top 5 biggest thing. But I am more blown away that this is like the biggest thing on Dustin's.
I just think it is I just think it is because
maybe it's like recency bias too.
Yeah.
Yes, 100%, Connor. It's the freshest thing, right? But to be fair, though, it's just one of those things like, Huberdeau last season, I feel like had I don't know the numbers, but I feel like had a comparable or just as good of a season as Tkachuk.
He was second most points in the league.
Okay, so case in point, right? Quality season, and you're taking Tkachuk, giving away Huberdeau and Uyghur, who I feel like was a good defenseman last year.
Yeah.
And it's just like, what are you doing? I
don't know where that. I mean, Tkachuk is an unbelievable player.
Absolutely.
He's the type of player that I would want on my team. That's a player that you can like kind of build a team around. He's almost like he's a better Bertuzzi, if that makes sense. He can do all the things.
He's gritty, a fighter. Yep.
Yeah, can do all the things Bertuzzi can, but he's just like a little bit better in each one of those categories, which is a really good player in some categories he's actually a lot better, but like overall
boring.
Yeah, and that's like primarily just the offensive talent, I think, is where he's better. Where he's just better on. But bottom line is like you want to have that guy in your team. That's unbelievable. I am super surprised. So it's awesome if you're a Florida fan, but then you look up what they gave up, and I'm like, holy shit, this is that's a ton. I cannot believe that. So I think you asked us, Dustin, who won that trade. That I was thinking that too. I don't think we'll ever like really know until it's a couple of years from now when the teams are where they're at. But man, Florida gave up a whole bunch for Tkachuk, and I don't know if I would have done the same thing. Actually, I know I would not have done the same thing.
So not after that. Not only after picking up Tkachuk, they signed him to an 8-year, $9.5 million AAV contract. I mean, they put it all in on Tkachuk. They put it in saying he's going to be with them hopefully for 8 years. We'll see how that pans out, but that's just I don't. All I can say is Florida. You shit the bed last year, and I'm not sure what you're doing in the offseason, but I guess time will tell. Like Tom said.
So I needed to correct something. I misspoke. He wasn't second in the league last year, but I know that he it was Goudreau last year that was number 2. But either way, I tried to find it. But I wanted to further this point. I sent this to you guys. Yesterday. This is from the Hockey Collective on Instagram. For Matthew Tkachuk in 20 games of Claude Giroux and Ben Sherratt, the Florida Panthers traded away Jonathan Huberdeau, Mackenzie Weegar, former top 10 pick Owen Tippett, first-round pick in 23, first-round pick in 24, first-round pick in 25, third-round pick in 24, and 2 prospects.
Yeah, I mean, if they don't win by 2024, 2025, and then if they don't want to stay in the Cup in the next 3 years, then they're in a world of pain.
Yeah. Weegar's a top 10 defenseman too. Like that hurts to trade that guy away.
Oh yeah. No, that's tough.
Yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? I mean, I was telling Dustin yesterday, I think he's a top 4 defenseman on any team.
Yeah.
Weegar.
No, I mean, you're probably right.
Weegar.
I mean, he was a top 4 defenseman. He was top 4 defenseman for them, and they were on one of the best teams in the league. So
right, 100%.
I think he was their top pairing.
Yeah.
So I sent you guys that signing for Tkachuk, and then I sent you that signing for Kyler Murray. It's something that's crazy to me if you're looking at the difference in sports and contracts, right? 5 years, $230.5 million. That's $160 million of that's guaranteed. And it's like, could you imagine if signed well, first off, you couldn't. There's not enough cap space for that shit. But could you imagine if there was enough cap space to sign players like that to those huge freaking deals in the NHL?
Dude, what he's getting paid per year, Kyler Murray, is like what some people get in their entire career at the NHL level.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I mean, it's like what 46.5,
46.1 is what it works out to be.
Yeah, I mean,
stupid. That's some people's deals for like 5 years, 6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, or like their whole career, like Tyler was saying. I mean,
right.
You have a decent defenseman or forward. They're making 1 to 3 a year for. I mean,
yeah,
it's not that. I mean, $3 million a year isn't that unheard of for a good defenseman or a decent defenseman. You know, yeah, that's crazy. You know, I feel like they kind of caught up to. For me, anyway, there was a lot of baseball players that were getting paid just ridiculous numbers.
And speaking of baseball. 28-3, the freaking Toronto versus Boston. Holy shit.
I thought Barstool was pretty. Yeah. Well, either way, I think Barstool was pretty funny when they chimed in and said like, oh yeah, the Red Sox just failed to get the ball in the end zone or whatever.
Yeah.
Sorry, Connor, didn't mean to cut you off.
Sorry, go ahead, Connor.
Shit.
Oh no, I was just saying that pitchers have been getting paid an enormous amount for a while, and I was always surprised that that's like the big guy in that league, and then NFL, like the king of kings, if we're talking leagues, they could just do whatever they want. That the quarterbacks aren't getting paid that, but now they clearly are. Over the past 5 years or whatever, you know what? Stafford kind of kicked it off. I feel like his contract,
27. Yeah, it was like I think it was something 5 years ago, Connor, 5 or 6 years ago, where he had 27.8 million or something like that per year. And everyone's like, oh, there's no way he's worth that much. And I listened to Mike Valeni, and he was like, are you kidding? What else are you guys going to give him? Like,
right. Yeah. He's like, well, and then in 3 years, it's going to be, because it's always the highest in the league, all these good quarterbacks. If you're like a top 10 quarterback, top 12 quarterback, every time the contract goes up, you're just going to like, well, I want the most, or I'll just go somewhere else. And they're like, well, we don't have a choice. I guess we have to give them the most, that give them all of our money.
Yeah.
And that's what's happening.
Are there salary caps in NFL?
Yeah.
Are there?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Now that you questioned, I'm like 99% sure that.
Dude, what the fuck are they? Like $1 billion?
Well, you have to understand.
They make so much money that they have to just go up.
It's just like, Jesus Christ, when you're paying people fucking $50 million a year times 12 players, you have a $50 million, a $12 million here.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing as well. Like the owners of an NHL, the owners of an NHL franchise as opposed to an NFL franchise. Difference.
The
You
cap
you
is
add in an extra
208.
zero.
The cap is 208 million.
For football?
208 million.
Yeah.
Dude, so you're telling me that the quarterback's getting paid 50 mil or 40 mil, and then everyone else is 46, and everyone else is taking like what, 5 mil?
Yeah, well, there's a bunch of things that you can do.
You have like a
with that
50-man roster
46.
on football, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
but, there's a bunch of stuff you can do with that, like whether it's front loaded, back loaded. If you want to like just signing bonus, that's just where the average, where the AAV comes to. It's like if you take the years divided by the contract, that's what it would. But we don't know the details of what that cap hit is. It could be. I just doubt it unless they have.
That's
something
so
worked
wild to
out.
me though. Like, holy shit, you're spending that much money.
Yeah.
Anywho, let's go back to hockey.
Yeah.
So you wanted to talk a little bit about the Detroit Red Wings transactions. We did sign Marco Casper to a 3-year entry-level deal. Excuse me. Did we mention that, Connor, last time we were on? I can't remember.
No,
I don't
know
think
if
he signed it yet.
Did we
When you
talk
guys
about like
recorded.
anything?
I don't think so. I think we talked about just the fact that we just had the draft, I think, because it was 2 weeks ago.
We didn't talk about like free agency or anything.
No, because
No.
it's been 2 weeks, guys.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So-
So that's why I was like, oh man, there's been like a bunch of crazy. I don't think we've talked about really.
So
We haven't talked about anything.
All right. So yeah. So shit. We didn't. Okay.
So you can't just jump into Casper. We got to go back to.
So let's talk about the
breakdown,
DeBrincat, the whole DeBrincat shit. So I honestly thought Yzerman might have landed DeBrincat, especially with just what was at it. I know we talked about it briefly, but the reason I'm transitioning into that is because then like it was like a firestorm right after all those trades. It's like boom, 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 boom. Like everything started opening up. Where do you guys want to start? Do you want to start with Husso from St. Louis? We talked about that, I'm assuming, right?
I don't know if we talked about anything for like as far as free agency goes.
Well,
because when was free agency?
Well, Husso was Billy Husso was the first. He was before the draft.
Yep.
So
that was
we may, depending on the day, we may
Oh,
have.
because was that a trade?
Yeah.
That we had? Okay.
to St. Louis
Then
for a pick.
I gotcha. So yeah, July 13th was when everything opened up. So that was Wednesday. So
yeah,
yeah,
it was Wednesday.
So yeah, I mean, I just don't understand how Steve Yzerman is allowed to get on the phone with like anybody he wants to, because if he's getting on the phone with somebody, he's getting a deal.
Yeah, it should be illegal.
It's unfair, and I'm loving it. I'm all in on it right now.
Is there any? So I think Connor and I were talking. Maybe not. It might have been Joey. But we were talking about essentially. Do you guys think that they made a real big impact? I'm not saying Sherrod or Perron aren't big players, but like, were those the big name signings that you guys were looking for, or do you feel like that's going to be like it's an acceptable thing because we got like two like upper tier players, so it doesn't really have to be that the platinum player, if you will.
I think that maybe not necessarily big names, Dustin, but the right players to fit in with this group. Steve already said he's not going to mortgage our future for one guy. I mean, think about like Tkachuk is getting paid what 8.5 per year or something like that, 9.5 per year at 8 years or whatever it is.
Yeah.
There isn't anybody that Steve is willing to give away right now to get a type of player like that. We're not at that win caliber. So, but I think that we went from, kind of a bottom of the barrel team to a bubble team to make it to the wild card spot. I mean, that's got to be expectation for this season.
Yeah.
That's I'm saying it right now. You have a pretty good goalie tandem.
Yeah. Well, you were talking
so
before though, Dustin. You were asking if those were I don't know if those people that you mentioned were what I was thinking, but I do think like getting out there and getting a guy like Andrew Kopp is like a hell of a move, and I think that is a person that if you're going out there, you want to make a big signing. There are those other guys that I think those are household names, like people know them within the league. They're good players. But Andrew Kopp was one of the best second line centerman in the entire, in free agency.
Do you like him better than Trocheck? And on that
I
same
do.
deal, the Trocheck
Yeah.
deal was, I think, 2 years longer than the Cop deal, if I'm not mistaken. About
What was the
same
AAV for
AAV.
Trocheck?
They're
About
both
the
five.
exact same.
Yeah.
Yep.
What was it like? What 6.75 or 5.675?
5.6, I think, but it was one was a 5-year, one was a
5.675,
7-year, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. No, I do. I think that I'd like the 5 years versus the 7. A lot better, actually.
Would you take Trocheck at 5 versus Cop at 5?
I don't know. They're very similar. If Cop can play like how he did at the end of the last year in the playoffs, and I'd like him more than Trocheck. I think
Okay.
Trocheck, his game. He's not. I don't think he's doing anything different than what I watched for the past couple of years. Where I think Cop's upside probably is more more than Trocheck, just from what he's proven. Trocheck hasn't gone through stretches where he did what Cop was doing for 30, 40 games last year. I really like that. And even when he doesn't do that, he's a really, really good two-way centerman. But at the same time, Trocheck, I would say his offensive side is a little bit higher, just like his skill level watching him. But Cop can still score and he does all that stuff. But I think that Cop is probably better 200 feet in your defensive zone. And honestly, we need that. We need that help in the back end. So I have to imagine that Yzerman looked at both those players, had the help around them to figure out which one they wanted. And looking at the AAV, he probably was in on Trocheck too, and just trying to figure out which one was a better fit for the team. So I trust him. I would have been fine with either one, to be completely honest. I like Trocheck a lot,
I do too.
and I like Cop a lot.
So just on that, I wonder if any of the persuasion was leaning towards the fact that Cop's a hometown kid, right? So Yzerman can come in there, hey, you want to play for your home team, original 6, blah 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 blah. It's almost like that.
It's such an easy
extra
sales pitch.
We'll say again.
So easy.
It's such an easy sales pitch. I mean,
Do you want to play for the team that you rooted for your whole entire life?
Yeah,
Or
like hey, remember those '90s Red Wings that you grew up idolizing? Do you want to throw on that same sweater and have the same chance?
Speaking of that, the Red Wings logo was voted the #1 logo in the NHL.
It's voted that every
I'm not
single year.
surprised.
I'm like,
because it's fucking fire.
Yeah,
it
is money every time. But I bet like part of it is he talks to him. And he's like, hey, we're going to sign a 5-year deal. We're going to be Stanley Cup contender at year 4. Like by the end of your deal, you're going to win the Stanley Cup in your last year, and you're going to sign another big ticket because you're a good centerman on a Stanley Cup winning team. So
he's got a big role being top 6 as well. So
yeah.
I think that's what he wants. He was getting lost in like the Winnipeg lineup a little bit. I feel like with Wheeler and Scheifele, he was getting lost in that one, and then he got traded to the Rangers, and then he was kind of starting to get lost in that lineup as well. So I think that he finally is where he's supposed to be, has the role that he wants, and I'm excited to see him in the winged wheel.
Well, we asked Yzerman, or I did specifically. I've been asking, I've been talking to him on the phone every single morning when I wake up. No, I didn't want to lump you guys in here, but at the end of last year, I was just saying that we needed to go out there. We were at the point where this team is what it is. Like we've made some big steps, and I think we know there was a big separation between our top players and the players that are maybe not our top players. We were at the point where we drafted really well, we signed really well. We just needed to go out and pick some guys up like other teams have been doing. He did exactly what I wanted to do. He went for big guys, he went for big name guys, and we landed some of them. This was I haven't seen a free agency like this in I don't even know how long.
It's been a while, Connor, which makes me lead on to Tyler's comment about as far as it being a bubble team, right? Yzerman kind of sees that next level. He's kind of trying to build those pieces to get us to that next point. One thing I still want to see is a little bit more of strength on our blue line, right? The Sherratt signing was good. That's going to be very helpful for Seider having that D partner he's going to be able to rely on, so he can play his game, which is a little bit more offensive. Not saying that Seider's not a defensive player, but he does play a good defensive game. Unlike Roenick, who doesn't play defense. On that,
yep. But you got Mata. I think our top 4 is actually pretty good.
And then Yeah.
So
I think that's what the goal was, is to have a decent top four to kind of groom even the younger guys. I still think Jake Wallman's he went into contract arbitration recently, but I think that he's
Well, then
still.
you have Edmondson coming in soon.
That's
So
my point. You have
no,
like William Wallander and those
and,
guys.
and boys,
So
I'm not discrediting that. I'm just saying, for this season, it's nice to see that we have two quality defensemen. I just want to see a good top four. I don't know enough about Mata to make a comment on him. I was kind of looking at his past games. In like quick clips, he doesn't look terrible. Honestly, I just want to move Roenick. That's a spot that honestly that's a sore subject with me. I don't feel like he fits in with what we're trying to do here personally. I'd like to see him get traded to a team that needs someone like him. I don't know who it does, but I'd rather open that spot up for somebody else. That's more or less what I'm trying to get at here. Is I feel like he takes us.
Yeah, well, he does, but I do. Mata is like he's a household name too. I've used that term earlier before, but like he's been in the league, he's established. Like he's a guy that's when he's on the ice, I'm not worried about it. It's just he's been playing the game for a while and he knows what to do. So I go back to the top four being solid. I understand you on Hronek. Whether they like him or they don't like him, whether they want to keep him for a trade piece because he can be useful in other teams. So maybe hold on to him until the deadline.
So,
I don't know.
Connor, we were talking about hypotheticals, all of us, all three of us, on that. So hypothetically, are we talking Seider, Sherratt, 1 and 2 D, and then who are we talking on that next?
Well, Mata and
Hronek, I'd imagine.
Yeah, probably Hronek.
See,
I think that actually, I'd be interested to see that
pairing.
Because
I think we have to
the
see
only
Hronek
reason why.
Yeah,
I think that we've said this, we've all agreed on this multiple times. Hronek is such an offensive guy that you need somebody who's a stay-at-home defenseman to kind of counteract everything.
And that's Mata.
But you need a better team too. 100%. Overall, you can't be an offensive defenseman, which he is, on a team that's like horrible. So
or has like Tyler said, you don't have anybody stay at home, so you have two defensemen.
Even if you have a defenseman, it's not even just about the defenseman. You need the forwards to be able to read the play. You need if let's say he goes down in the offensive zone, right? Every single winger or forward knows that if defenseman's down low, you need to look at the blue line and someone needs to drop back or at least be in a position where you can be the last man back.
Mm-hmm.
Who are you trusting on like the second, third, and fourth line to be that last forward back? That if it's a 2-on-2, that 2-on-2 basically turns into a 2-on-1 because your team's not good enough. So he can play his game and he's getting all these minuses because he's getting a lot of points and because that works out, but then he's getting all these minuses because the team's horrible and he's just playing a stupid game. But he shouldn't have to. I wouldn't want him to change his game so drastically where he's not the player that we want on the team. So I want him to keep doing all these things. The team just needs to be better around him. And if he still is horrible in a defensive liability this upcoming year, and even if it's not, to be completely honest, like this year isn't the year, like I'd be completely fine with trading him or, not re-signing him or whatever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's just more or less what I was getting at. I just feel like there's an opportunity to slot, like Tyler said, we have Evanson coming up, we have Wallander coming up because we have those spots that, that need to be open.
And Evanson is clearly not a bottom, 6 type of guy. He's a top 4 defenseman, and completely he probably at some point in his career it's going to be him and Tyler playing more too.
That's what I was going to say. It's so, and it's kind of that on that point, So say we see Evanson, I don't know because I'll say it right now. Like I said last year about Raymond, it's kind of hard to tell, where they're going to be slotted at. But that being said, so say he comes up, do we see Sherratt taking that second, or is he always going to be on that top line?
I don't know much about Sherratt to say whether or not he's a top 2 or just a top 4 guy. But I'd say with the roster that we have right now, he's definitely going to be on the top line. But once Edvinsson comes up, and I mean, so we never know, right? I mean, he could be right on the top line with Seider, but
defense coming in, being on the top line doesn't happen too very often.
No, I'm not
Or it
saying
doesn't
right
happen
away.
often. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I can see him starting off with a vet on the being top 4,
hmm
maybe on the second line, or even if you're like the getting 15 minutes of ice time and you're the last 2 defensemen.
So we'd all agree that Seider, he won the Calder Trophy, but also that he's kind of like a one-off situation, right? Or do you feel like he's only put on that first line just because of the situation we were in last year?
No, I think he earned that. He earned that spot
Yeah.
last year. I don't think he wasn't starting off getting 23 minutes of ice
No.
time and being on the top line in all these different situations. Like,
And the power play, running the power play.
yeah, and I think that could happen with Edmondson too. It doesn't happen very often. That's why he won the trophy, Calder Trophy. But if you have another guy coming in, a huge guy, by the way, he's ginormous, and the same thing with Seider,
6'7",
something like that, and that could skate and handle the puck, which is just ridiculous. So if he can come in and show that he wants to be on the top line, I mean, they're not going to not do it just because of his age. Seider proved it.
right?
So they're just not going to start him there. They'll start him with a veteran guy who can.
That's what. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I think we saw that last year, right, with Seider and DeKaiser. That it was kind of, DeKaiser's supposed to help Seider, but that changed quickly.
I think that's what actually, you know what? Thank you to Danny DeKaiser though, because if nobody realized how shitty of a partner that Seider was playing with, and that he was an anchor, like, to his success the entire time, I don't think he would have gotten the unanimous Calder votes.
Yeah, because the team was so bad, and you still did well.
I mean, that's essentially how it went down.
Was, yeah.
So we touched on Copp. We touched on we missed
I think overall though, if you take a look at the draft and free agency, and you went to Eisman actually said this too. Like, today is, I think it was like the 14th, and he's like, our team is better than it was before. But even if you look at that in like a holistic level, if you look at defensemen, you look at goalies, you look at forwards, every single group got not just a little bit better, even they got like much better. The team is basically going to be a new team.
They hopped a couple levels up for sure.
Immediately. Yeah. So I think that they Eisman did what I wanted him to do. The goalies, I have a zero issue. I love the goalie pairing that we're going to have coming up this year. The 1-2 punch, probably one of the better tandems in the entire league. Defensemen, we got some guys coming up, but even the signings make our top 4 pretty decent. And then forwards, there's a lot to be seen still with the forwards, but I really like the signing of your top 6.
So on the signings, for the first time, we're actually getting closer to cap hit. We still have $10 million in cap space.
That's crazy when you think about it, though.
So,
isn't
but
it?
no, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5,
Unsigned.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 players that we need to sign next year coming off the books. I'm not saying that we're going to sign them all, but there's 12 players that either we need to sign, move on, do something with. Some of them, Larkin, Bertuzzi.
Significant drop off after that.
Nedeljkovic. Nope, Nedeljkovic.
We'll see. He'll probably get re-signed.
Yeah, I was just trying to look. So Mata, your guy that you like, he's coming off the books.
No, I'd definitely not my guy. I think that he was a good sign.
I didn't mean like that. I was just saying you knew him. I didn't really recognize the name, to be completely honest.
Really?
Yeah.
Connor has every single Ole Mata jersey.
Yeah,
probably does.
Guy, man. Back when he was Pee-wee.
He has his first jock.
Real quick,
he gave me his cup.
Do we think Smith is making the roster next year? I'd really like to see Smith somewhere slotted in.
I would too, but I don't know if I see it.
I know.
I don't know.
Dude,
Look at the depth though.
Dude, I know
that's the thing. It's a good problem to have, but it's also like, well,
I was just looking at that. So on left wing we have Bertuzzi, Kubalik, Perron, Vrana, Smith, and Ernie. To be fair, like Ernie's like, does Kubalik take over Ernie's spot? That's where I'm thinking. He's got to, right? I'm thinking we got Bertuzzi on that left wing. Bertuzzi, Perron. Shit.
Are you
Perron,
saying for second line?
No,
Yeah,
just like all
Yeah,
the
for sure.
no, he's talking about all of the wingers on the left side.
yeah.
Not
Yeah,
just
but
the
what
second line.
where was Ernie slotted last year? Was he third line?
Second.
He was second. Yeah,
No.
Kubalik is for sure going to be slotted over him.
Yeah, because
Well, it's
remember,
Bertuzzi or Perron.
that's what I'm saying. That's the
one
hard
or
thing,
two.
right?
For the
do we have-
left.
do- so
Oh
do-
no,
so-
I thought you guys were talking about right wings. My bad.
dude, this fucking Eiserman threw a wrench in this. We gotta hold on. So we got Larkin as C1, right?
Yeah.
Larkin is C1. We got Raymond on the fucking right wing, and then we got
Bert.
Bert, or do we got Perron?
I
No,
think it'll
I
Interchange.
yeah, I'm not too worried about like
Okay. So then we got second line, Cop.
it depends if the game's played in Canada or not. Part of it, and I'm not even joking.
No,
Like,
Connor, you're completely right. I literally forgot about that.
like, do
Okay.
you want your first line to be jumbled up for 10 games? Like maybe it makes sense to just keep them on the second line and have the first line stay the same the entire time.
Mhm.
Okay. So all right, that's fair. So say Perron's on first. So then we got Andrew Cop, Bertuzzi, and then who are we throwing on the right wing? Zadina. Who's this Luff?
I need to see like the new
Who's
roster.
Who's this Luff guy? Luffy. Ooh, yeah, I don't. He can probably stay on the bench. I was joking. Oh my god.
Yeah, I mean, I
Probably is
guess
Zadina.
yeah.
So-
Zadina is probably the only
And
one that we can go to right now.
correct me if I'm wrong, since we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 centers, some of those are going to play wing.
Oh yeah.
Um,
Well, I mean, it depends on who it is, but yeah.
well, it depends on if some of those guys are on your list that need to be re-signed, then they probably won't be with the team.
Yeah. Right.
Some of the lower tier guys, you know what I mean?
So I'm
Like
looking right now.
Rasmussen is probably going to be a fourth line center.
Do you think we're trading him?
I mean, Pius Suter has to be our third line center.
Are we
I
re-signing
can't-
Suter? He comes off the books next year.
I would think so. I mean, he's. I think that he.
Oh, Gagne's
played-
gone.
Yeah, Gagne's gone. I don't know. Like everyone thought that Pius Suter was supposed to be this like sharpshooter for us. Like, I mean, maybe it's because the first game, his first NHL game, he scored a hat trick against the Wings, and everyone's like, "Ooh, we got this guy. That's
He torched
awesome."
us, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, he played exactly the role that he was supposed to this year. Like he's not.
Oh,
Did you say Vrana, by the way?
No,
Yeah.
Verana's probably going to be top line. Now that I think about it,
all right. So we're talking about trade. We got to. What are your guys' odds on Kadri as far as?
Well, he's probably, I was talking about the best.
like where he's going.
Yeah, is he going to resign with Colorado? Because he's got to be resigned, or they got to do something.
The longer it goes, no, I think that he won't end up back in Colorado. But
Does he end
No,
up in
you don't think
Detroit?
so? No. Well, we just
No.
picked up Cop. He's a second line center. He like when I was talking about Cop being one of the best free agent centers out there. There was three. There's Kadri, Trocheck, and Cop. And I think Kadri was so up in the air. Kadri was the best out of those three by far.
Okay, I was gonna say. Okay, I was trying to figure out where you're going with that. I was like, I think Kadri takes the helm on all of them as well.
Yeah, but he would probably he's going to require $8+ million probably, or at least 7.5. I think he's a first line center on half the teams in the league.
I don't even think Colorado has a cap space for that. To be completely honest.
yeah, I don't know if they do. Well, they dumped. Didn't they dump Kemper? So that kind of helps a little bit, but still,
Yeah.
it's not going to be enough.
They have $3 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, they gotta figure something out.
I'm not sure that
They got $3 million,
Padres willing to take
and they got to sign
a
McKinnon
discount.
next year.
Yeah, I mean, Kadri basically took him to the playoffs for the first half of the season. With
Yeah.
all the injuries that they had, they were only in the running because he was carrying the team completely on his back, and there was injuries in the back half of the year too. And I don't think he had a bad stretch. He just was on fire the entire time.
Dustin,
So-
can you pull up like do you have like the list of the teams that are and they're like how they're doing with cap right now?
Yeah, I can pull that up.
Because that's going to be obviously a huge determining factor of where he's going. Who can afford him? 1, 2, is he going to? It's going to be a team that's probably going to be a bubble team. It's not going to be a team that
Alrighty.
is in a total rebuild.
So Anaheim, Arizona, Buffalo, Ottawa, Dallas, Chicago.
This is from most to
Yep.
least.
Yep.
Okay.
They all have 10 million or higher. Anaheim
He
has
ain't going
30.
to Chicago.
Anaheim has 30.
Calgary should be in the running. That's who they need.
Calgary's got 9 mil, Connor.
Oh, could you imagine how incredible
That would be
that
good.
team would look with Uyghur, Huberdeau, and Kadri?
I mean, that would be a playoff team at that point. If they could swing that, then the Kachuk moving on wouldn't be as surprising to me, right?
Well,
Like,
and-
okay.
They completely
Gaudreau.
won off season.
Say again, Tyler.
I said they would have completely won off season because they needed guys to step in, like in the departures of Gaudreau and Kachuk, like Connor was saying. But this
We didn't talk
lineup,
Johnny Hockey.
That's what that was what I said when you talked about the crazy stuff.
Johnny Hockey.
That's why I was
Holy
so blown away.
shit. Okay, I guess that one's kind of crazy. So, that was for nothing, right? That was just a fucking pickup.
he took
He was a
less
he was
money.
It was just a pickup, though. It was,
Yeah.
Calgary
Yeah, he was
got
unrestricted.
nothing. Yeah, Calgary got nothing, and he signed for what?
They offered him. He said no.
Yeah.
I mean,
And people, I'm kind of wondering, is it Daryl Sutter? Is it
That's what I'm saying.
ownership? Like what's going on in Calgary, man?
I don't know.
But like at the same
You're
time,
also
when
in Alberta, so
yeah, when you're in Alberta, you're playing in Canada. You have crazy fans. It's
You're under
awesome.
a microscope.
You're under a
Yeah.
microscope, and for
Yeah.
Gaudreau, it's sweet because you're playing unreal. You have 40 goals last season or whatever it was.
hmm
So there's not any worry, but that could super quickly, if he has a couple bad games to start the season next year, the fan base hates him. But to go out somewhere else, you test, first of all, you test free agency. That's a cool thing for people to do when, if you're that good and you have all these teams wanting you, that's pretty sweet to do that. I heard that he wasn't a fan of doing it, but whatever. And then you go to a place that you want to go to. You should at that point be able to choose where you want to live. And going to Columbus is, apparently he wanted to do it. He talked to a bunch of guys, I guess, that were in the league, and they all love the area, and he's going to be there. He's going to be there for a while, and he's going to be making a shit ton of money. So good for him.
So one of the viewers
Line
said
just resigned there too.
Calgary offered Johnny Gaudreau 11 mil for 8 years. He ended up taking 9.5 mil for 7 years at 9.75. Excuse me.
Yeah, It was a little bit of a head scratcher, especially wasn't he?
The taxes in Canada are different.
Oh no, I know that, but I'm just saying. Even
Thanks, Biz.
No,
He
I'm
had
just
a,
saying he's probably taking it at a 1.5 million. Like that's getting
Yeah.
taken.
no,
So
it's a huge
it's
factor
probably
for sure.
It's probably just the same amount, if not better. Who knows what it is?
That's a fair thing, Connor. Did you see the meme? Someone's like, "You're going to
Yeah, I
Columbus.
sent that to you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're going to call. I'll take it, Columbus.
oh shit." Hey, speaking of that, though, Line just re-inked a deal for some amount of time. So that's going to be interesting seeing them two play 4 years with the Blue Jackets.
He's got to pick it up.
He
I
does.
hope,
So
yeah.
he was an interesting player. So I mean, I never really thought
He's got a
personally he was
cannon
the-
of a wrister.
He does. But in Winnipeg, like when I
Still
watched
not
him,
as
I was
good as
like,
Connors, but
right,
Yep,
fair.
yep.
I mean, you've seen it.
Very
But
few
like,
are.
I just didn't. I don't think he's that. Like, he's a great player. Don't get me wrong, but it's like I don't know. It just he hasn't really done much. Like, what have you done lately? I guess.
But what are
is
you
what I'm
saying
saying.
for?
Oh shit.
So I think we can't just talk about maybe it is a great deal.
34. Let's call it 35 million for 1, 2, 3, 4 years.
Oh, that's kind of a lot.
8.7 mil a year.
Line A signed that?
Yeah.
Wow, that's more than I would have.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't
Dude,
think he's worth it at that point.
Yeah,
I
maybe
mean,
they're just
when
kind of
you-
going all in. Maybe I guess I don't know.
when you talk about worth it,
All in for
and
what?
He hasn't
Like,
proved. He hasn't proved anything, Dustin. Like
that's what I'm
with-
saying.
Cup.
Like,
But he, I to Connor's point, I think they are trying to make a move to go all in for the Stanley Cup. They,
I mean, nobody leaves a Stanley Cup and be like, "We're in a perfect situation for cap space." Like the only way to win is
It's
if
a
you are in a
overspend.
shit situation, and the only worse thing than doing that is not winning and being in a shit situation.
It's a
That's
gamble.
it's a
You know,
gamble.
yeah,
That's the
you're
worst thing. So Colorado, it paid off, but what you were just talking about, like you can't just keep that going for years and years. But this was going to bite him in the ass at some point. It's been writing on the wall for however many years. And Toronto was in the same position. They went all in, and now they're in kind of a shit spot
Toronto-
coming over the next 5 years.
they're
Toronto
going to
got
be in this.
Toronto got shitty
same-
because they drafted so well, right? They drafted so well, and then they had to sign these contracts to try to keep these players they drafted that they overspent. I think that was the biggest issue. They had a couple great draft years. All their ELCs ended relatively about the same time, and they signed these deals. And now they're just fucked.
They definitely, yeah, overspend is definitely the main the key word in there, Dustin, because you have like William Nylander. I don't know what he was getting paid, 7 something. Do you think he's worth that? I mean,
No.
he's playing on lines
No.
with some of the best players in the world, and let's see how he does. He's on a new team now, right? I forget who he went to, or
Did he?
I believe so. My mind has been so jumbled lately.
Your mind sucks, Tyler. He still
Yeah,
plays
it's
for
terrible.
Toronto.
Does
Yeah.
he?
Yeah.
Well, they're gonna be in huge trouble. He will be playing somewhere else because when it comes to the people they have to re-sign, I guarantee you he's not
Exactly, one of
on top. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Oh, the Detroit Red Wings pretty much did a whole entire coaching change.
Yeah.
From
we haven't
top to
talked
bottom.
about that.
No, I mean we talked about it. We talked about the coach. He does look like Mr. Penguin.
Yeah, and then Bob Bugner, who's like he specializes with defense.
Mhm.
Pretty pumped about
Brady.
that. Yeah. Is that the goalie coach, Connor?
That is
Which one was the
Assistant
goalie
coach.
coach?
Yeah, I think he was just an assistant coach.
The
I'm not
goalie
sure.
coach, I forget. Oh man, I forget who he worked with, but the guy that we had previously, I don't know, was it
Alex Westland, by
Alex
the way, is the
Westland?
goalie coach. I don't know enough about any of these coaches to really form a
Oh,
good opinion. It's
real
just like,
quick.
hey, hopefully Eisman did his homework.
Yeah,
Tampa got pissed that we
Trust
took
it.
their head coach or their assistant coach, so they signed our old head coach.
yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
little,
they're just swapping things
switcheroo.
back and forth. Yeah,
Yeah.
same with St. Louis. We've just been a lot of.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, speaking of St. Louis, they did ink fuck. What the hell's his name to a deal that came from the Red Wings? Oh my god. We
Was it-
traded him.
It was
Connor,
involved. In,
Fuck you. You know damn well who it is.
Mm-mm.
Yes, you do.
Let you sit on this for a
Well,
while.
there's a bunch of
I'll let you stew on it, he says.
there's a bunch of ex Red Wings that are on St. Louis, and then there's a bunch of ex Blues that are on the Red Wings.
He was defenseman. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Go on. I hate you guys. I hate both of you.
Well, it's early in the morning. I only have 1 cup of coffee in me.
Oh,
so I'm-
well, the good news is let's talk a little golf because I did go golfing this morning and only got 9 holes in. But I'm gonna try to go before it gets rainy outside. Looks
can
like I'm still
someone
good.
look up what Dustin's talking about? Because I am gonna lose my. I'll do it.
I'm looking it
Let's
up
talk
right now.
hockey, though.
I'm looking it up right
Or
now.
golf.
Well, Letty,
Letty.
Letty.
yeah, when you guys finally get to the point where you need an answer, I'll give it to you.
Oh my god.
Like you weren't typing it.
Yeah, Connor's over there.
These are my
tip-tapping.
hands right here.
Yeah, right. They were right here.
Oh my
Like,
god.
You know where my hands are, Tyler.
Holy shit. Yeah, golf. So I shot a 44 this morning.
Nice.
Tyler's getting yelled at.
Yeah. I don't know. What for.
Speaking of golf, though, if anyone lives in Michigan, do not go to Crooked Creek Golf Course. I'm just throwing that out there.
Mm.
Terrible golf course. Long story short, had a 7 a.m. tee time, rolled up at, or 7:30 tee time, excuse me. Rolled up at 7 a.m. There's another truck parked in front of the gate because the gates were locked. So, I go get some breakfast, come back. The gate's still locked. It's now 7:15. So I'm like, oh, let me.
Did you already mention you had to drive an hour?
Oh no, I didn't say that yet. It's technically only 45 minutes.
No. You got to round up though.
That's what I thought too. That's what I thought too, right? So I drove an
After
hour.
getting gas and
Yeah, exactly. I had to go get gas and all
Getting
that. So
ready.
yeah, exactly. So an hour
And a half.
So I get
we'll
there.
say.
I messaged them on Facebook, which they're at. To be fair, they're super quick on Facebook and like, hey, call the clubhouse. I'm like, yo, no one's at the clubhouse. I already called, it just rings. And then I walk over to the truck and I was like, hey, what'd they say to you? Like, same thing. No one's answering. I'm like, what the hell? So long story short, I'm like, hey, have the owner call me just so we can kind of go over this. I just want to talk to him, whatever. No one ever calls. So I leave a review on Google, pretty much just detailing like, hey, I had a 7:30 tea time. No one was there. You guys told me to call the clubhouse. Again, no one was there. You mentioned that the owner might have been on the property doing some coursework, which just made me more pissed because it's like, then why is he not answering the phone or have the gates open? Anywho, the main reason for all of this is because the weatherman said it was supposed to rain yesterday. It did not rain yesterday. And even if it did rain, my thing is, you have a business, so I'd expect you to go in to the clubhouse and answer a phone call saying, hey, it's raining. We're having a delayed start, because some people live an hour away, 2 hours away, and they're driving to go play golf with somebody or, meeting somebody over there. So it's not like they know the weather. But needless to say, the owner replied back with a nice little snarky comment, pretty much acting like it's his protocol not to show up when it rains, and fuck you, pretty much.
What? So do you have exactly what he said? You don't have to do the whole thing, but like just basically the snarkiness, like Dustin was mentioning. It's just like, you're a business owner. You can't even say, like, hey, we
Dustin,
apologize for this.
Let's be fair about this. Tell people about the weather people. Tell people that the weather people said very bad thunderstorm coming, and radar were showing red all night. Even at 6 a.m. today, they were showing 8 to 8:30 big storm coming. Sorry for your delay, but 7 a.m. tea time guys played. We just wanted to be safe, in big capital letters about it. And if it takes you giving us a 1 star, I'll take it. Rather be safe than sorry. We follow a list of protocols. We follow a list of protocol that we too follow. Legacy is a good course. Glad you're able to golf today. Thanks, Brian. And it's like, wow. Again, all I'm asking is to just have somebody at the clubhouse, so when I call, you can tell me, hey, we're having a delayed start today, or hey, we're not open, instead of letting me make a tea time and then not showing up and then acting like I'm the bad guy.
Even a sign saying like you can call this number for like answers to your questions about
or
something.
You just need some type of way to
hear me out. The owner should have relayed the message to the Facebook team and said, hey, we're having a delayed start this morning because it's possibly going to be a weather delay, instead of being like, I don't know.
Guarantee you that owner is like, there's no Facebook team. That owner is putting comments out there. He could have just easily gone onto Facebook. It's a golf course. I bet he just had the app and he just needs to like comment or like make a post on his phone. Be like, hey, delayed.
Yep.
If you're coming, it's going to be delayed a half hour until we get there, until the rain stops.
I mean, he was quick enough to respond back to that review I left on Google. I'm talking within minutes.
Right.
Minutes. And it's like, oh, but you can't answer the phone. So needless to say, Crooked Creek and Ottawa Lake, I would save your money and just go down to Legacy, which is like 10 minutes down the road. Not worth it. Not worth your time. Not worth it.
Especially on a day where there's clouds out, because you never know. Rain can happen and that'll just cancel you around.
Right. Speaking of golf, though, on good terms, Tyler, you had a good round just recently. So did Connor. Both of you guys had some quality rounds.
My good round is Connor's shitty round. So I just like to throw that out there. But
you had a 46 though, didn't you?
45.
45.
Right.
Whoa. No,
well, and I was looking at it, +2 to finish the last 6. You're starting off the first 3 holes was a little rough. I think
little double triple.
Dude,
yeah.
Isn't it the worst? Like, you start your round and you fucking get a double. You're like, should I just turn back around and just not play today? Is that what
think about it. If you just bogeyed those 3, then you're shooting like a 41. And like you're not asking to par or do anything crazy.
This was in my head the whole time. I'm like, what?
How many 3
I can't
putts?
Be mad though.
How many 3 putts, Tyler?
1.
See, that's good. If you can stay away from really 3 putts, that's really good. I try to average 2 putts. Under 2 putts, I'm happy.
See that? So that wasn't the issue for the first 3. The first 3 holes were like pretty like narrow, and there are a lot of trees and
hit the 5 wood.
So I can't hit my woods. I'm not even kidding. I can't. I need to figure out how to hit
hybrid.
If I do anything, can't hit those either.
Oh, shit.
I had my 3 hybrid like figured out. And now it's back to like, I'll hit it, but it's a worm burner.
So what do you hit on those tight fairways? Do you just hit a fucking driver and hope it stays center?
Yeah.
Oh, you're a ballsy motherfucker.
Dude,
If I did that,
my
it'd be-
driver, I'm most confident with my driver.
Are
now.
you?
Yeah, I'm pretty. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck you, Connor. I've seen you drive. Connor does have Connor is confident with his driver. To be fair though, my slice has now turned into more of a fade.
Yeah, it's
There
a
you
good
go.
good ball movement that you
Yeah.
want.
Yeah.
Oh,
but-
wait.
Ooh.
Oh, no. Go ahead. Finish
No.
your point.
All I was gonna say is this morning I had one good fucking putt from like 20 feet out roughly. And yeah, that's all.
So I wanted to tell you guys about this last hole, the
Ooh.
320 par 4 that I got a birdie, my first birdie of the year. I don't even think I got one last year.
Oh,
Last year was a rough year for golf for me. Anyway, so this last one, 320, it's not a long par 4 by any means, right? So the thing is, it's like I think 220. It's like 220 off the tee, and then you it's like a dog leg right. So you have a choice to make. You either hit it 220 to the middle and then lay up, or you can like
cut it.
hug the tree line and bring it up, bring it around. So I was like, you know what? I've been hitting my driver pretty well today. I definitely hit my driver over 220. So I don't want to, fly the ball. So yeah, I decided to curve the corner, and I shot up after Anthony, and Anthony decided to just go straight with it. He landed right in the middle of the two bunkers, which is like the perfect spot to be. And I was like, oh boy, how am I going to follow this up? And it was, I honestly didn't even mean to do it. I wanted to curve it a little bit, and it just ended up happening. And then I was probably, I don't know, maybe like 30 yards from the green, and chip on, putt in for 3.
All right, real quick, Connor, before you tell your story about golf, Tyler, are you a bump and run guy or a chip, more of a chip, like a little chip kind of person?
You've asked me this before. It depends on where I am. I'm more comfortable with
same
a bump.
lie, like right in front of the fairway.
No, I know, but it for me, if it's an uphill,
Yeah.
I'd rather bump and run because
Okay.
you have more momentum. But if it's downhill, I'd rather do like a chip and have it like,
I like it.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I like it. Connor, let's talk about your best round of the season so far, right?
No. No, my better round was when a couple rounds ago at Thousand Oaks, I shot at 76, which was my best round.
Not good.
But then, that one I shot even on the back. So that was my best 9 I've ever had, like shooting even par.
How'd that feel?
Jeez.
Awesome.
Any
It
bogeys
was
or straight par?
1 birdie, 1 bogey.
Okay. Nice.
Yeah. So I was just playing solid. This one I shot 39. This is on Thursday. I shot a 78. Started off the back 9 with an eagle, like a tap-in eagle, which was awesome. Maybe not tapping, but probably a 3-foot eagle.
So
Big
close
ball-
to
big-
an
big-
albatross.
Big balls over here.
Yeah. I was, so that was like playing with the house's money at that point when I could start off the back 9 with some strokes.
Which hole, Connor?
But yeah, 10. It was
right off it.
right off like the
Wow.
driving range. It was like the halfway houses on the
Oh
left-hand
yeah,
side going down.
yeah. Okay.
Just super long.
You just
and
fucking smoke
straight.
your drive.
Drive, and then actually I hit my drive a little bit too far where I can't hit my 3-wood after, because I hit my 3-wood like 260, and I was probably like 240 downhill a little bit, but I ended up grabbing it, and I was like, I don't know what to hit, because that's 240. I hit my 4-iron 225-ish, so I could have hit that and kind of just been close, but I hit a light 3-wood, and it was it was right on. I took maybe like a 90% swing. Either way, yeah, it was a really fun round. It was one of those where I didn't actually. I think the first 3 holes I wasn't doing that great. Maybe basically just the second hole I got a double, and then after that it felt good. So
Hell yeah.
yeah, pretty solid.
Playing TPC Michigan on Wednesday.
Hell yeah.
Nice. You have to let us know. But you're going to play golf right after this, so I know we're gonna wrap up. I'm hopefully gonna get out there if the weather stays.
I would. You have a small window, Connor. Run.
Yeah.
All right, boys.
We gotta go.
Right. Let's get the puck out of here. Good live show. Thanks everyone for joining in. We'll see you next week.
All right. See you.